Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. This week I'm going to discuss my 5 psychological takeaways from Infinite Jest. That's right, I read Infinite Jest this past week. Well, I finished it. And as is the norm of people who have just finished it, all they can do is go around and talk about how they just read Infinite Jest, perhaps as a way to lower their superiority over all the other plebes out there who haven't finished it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it is this book by David Foster Wallace. You may know from his 2005 commencement speech at Kenyon College, "This is water." Maybe that rings a bell. But I think it's too bad that more people haven't read this book because, boy, it sure does it sure does encapsulate what's going on right now in America psychologically. So here are my 5 thoughts, my 5 takeaways about it. The first one is loneliness. I mean, that is clearly the theme of this book. Sure, there's depression, sure, there's addiction, but it all stems from loneliness. And I think to reference his 2005 commencement speech, I think it's the water that we're all swimming in. We've been swimming in it for such a long time, we don't even see it anymore. I mean, if you have a problem, what do? It's probably some life hacking thing. Oh, this vitamin supplementation. I'm going to take these amino acids. Oh, I know, I'm going to meditate more. I'm going to spend more time listening to life hacking podcasts. But we don't, like, you haven't talked to somebody. You haven't been honest with somebody about what's going on with you in 8.5 years. You think that might be part of the issue? Yeah, I think it might. And I think it's important that the book is 1,000 pages because Wallace had to explore this issue. He had to showcase, demonstrate how this issue manifests in our life in a myriad of different ways. That's my first takeaway. The second one is entertainment. Okay, we're lonely, but we need something to distract us, and so that's where entertainment comes in as a distraction. Not just entertainment as a distraction, but anything can be a distraction. Politics can be a distraction. Sex can be a distraction. In fact, the entertainment, capital E entertainment, the tape in Infinite Jest, called Infinite Jest, where the book gets its name, really gets its name from that line in Hamlet, is so entertaining. Well, it's so engrossing, it's so distracting that once you start watching this tape, you cannot stop watching it. I mean, what would be the ultimate weapon in a society where everybody's lonely would be entertainment like that. To go to the third point, the third takeaway is the Oedipal complex, how this affects everybody. So not only is entertainment or typical what we would think of as distractions a distraction, but our own neuroses can really be the distraction. I think that's what's represented in this tape, Infinite Jest. You know, early on in the book, you find out that there's a beautiful woman in this tape when you read the endnotes. So you think, oh, okay, a tape that's so engrossing, once you start watching it, you can't stop. But then you find out what's actually in the tape, and it's not pornographic at all. It is a woman bending over a crib. So the audience has the view of the baby in the crib. A woman is bending over the crib, over the baby, apologizing profusely. This is a representation of the Oedipal complex, the inability to separate from our parents. And what happens when we don't separate from our parents is we blame them for our issues. And then we start to think, oh, I know, if my mom just apologized enough for all the things that she did wrong, then I can go on, separate, and be my own man or woman. But that's the fantasy. Once you get that first apology, you want more. Because now you're no longer thinking about what you need to do to separate. You're thinking about what your mom needs to do, so you're still attached to her. And yeah, once you get the one like chasing the dragon, very much like a drug, the emotional hit that we could get from our parents apologizing, we need more and more, and it just becomes more and more of a distraction from us developing and moving out, as represented by once you start watching this tape, you simply can't stop. I mean, this is Narcissus. I mean, Narcissus... The original Infinite Jest, the original capital E entertainment is Narcissus staring at his reflection in the pond. And what did Dr. Robert Tominski remind us of a couple weeks ago on the podcast is, hey, Narcissus, his parents came from water. So in a sense, it's a representation of this Oedipal issue. I can't grow up. I mean, he has become a symbol of arrested development because he couldn't stop staring at his parents. And that's exactly what Infinite Jest, the tape, capital E entertainment in this book represents. And that's why we're not moving out of our parents' basement. I'm going to get back at my mom. I'm going to show her by not moving out and being a constant nuisance to her implicitly. The fourth takeaway is it doesn't matter what happens politically. It doesn't matter what happens culturally. The world may be screwed. I don't know. That ending is left very open-ended. in the book, what does matter is the choices that individuals do make. And some individuals make it out of the loneliness, the entertainment, the Oedipal issue, and some don't. And there's this whole political thread, this whole political plotline in the book that, in a sense, is a kind of distraction, making the meta point about, the purpose of distraction. But it doesn't really matter. This is election year. We're so focused on politics and, oh, look at how stupid this other person is on the other end of the political spectrum, right? But it's just a distraction from our own issues. And that's the fifth takeaway is, what do we need to get out? Well, characters in the book do get out of this mess, and it is only through awareness. It is only through looking at exactly what is going on in their lives, really coming to a place of such pain, of such misery, that they're going to do something as silly as reach out to somebody else and be honest with that somebody else about what is going on with them. Very similar to the ending of Apocalypto, one of my favorite movies by Mel Gibson. And it's about the Mayan civilization. I mean, we know what happens in the Mayan civilization. We know what happens. But what's interesting about the Mayan civilization is, well, not everybody died. Some of those guys lived. What was that guy like? His civilization collapsed, but there was this guy who made certain decisions and was able to live on and propagate, even though his civilization was collapsing. So it's easy to get distracted as from the issues in your life, but I would submit, and I think the book is submitting, that is merely a distraction from you and your own issues and what you need to do to overcome them. But yeah, there is a way out. It's called connecting with others. The real question isn't to be or not to be, I guess you could say. I mean, the book is partially based on Hamlet. It's, are you in enough pain to get the help to reach out and connect with people in the way that you really need to overcome all of your issues, all the issues presented in the book? That's why we have Animus Empire. We have solutions. We may be able to help. animusempire.com/schedule. We do free consultations, and I'll leave it there. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. And always remember, the solution is out there. The way out of the psychological mess that is present-day America is out there. The only question is, are you in enough pain?